Okay, so I'm going to be talking about white balance. Uh, basically, the basics of, well, let me start over. What I'm going to be talking about is what can you do to adjust white balance on your camera. I'll also be talking about the basics of white balance. Yeah, I'll be talking about the basics of white balance and yeah, a little bit of how can you adjust it on your camera depending on what camera you have. So to start off, I wrote a couple of things down. So the goal of white balance is to make the camera see how an eye would see. So to sum that up, or to go a little bit more in depth, what I mean is white balance. When you're taking a picture, the light that gets in could vary from blue to yellow, and it all depends on, not all of it, but most of it depends on where are you placed and where are you shooting. So if you're inside, it could all depend. If you're outside, it could all depend. So what else did I write down? Well, I did have a picture that I was going to show you, but I don't have a color printer, so I'm just going to go off from the paper and read a few notes. So yeah, like I've said, the basics of white balance is, it's basically the light that you have when you're shooting. It's basically varies from the color temperature, almost. So what I mean by color temperature is, I mean how your camera sees your picture or film in temperature wise. So what I have here is more blue. So the more blue that you have in a camera would be qualified as warm. The more yellow that you have coming into your film or picture would be cooler. There are a few definitions, but I don't think that's necessary to talk about, just because, not for time, but just because it's getting way too in-depth. So how can you adjust this, and how can you make sure that it's as best as you can? On your camera or film camera, there should be a setting that says WB. It might be a little dial. Actually, for most cameras, it's a little dial, which basically you turn the knob till you see white balance, or a big WB. Or it would be on your camera settings on the screen. So you would use the I guess joystick or whatever to go down to white balance and adjust the light. You should see a little analog stick that will let you adjust the white balance. Your main goal is to get it as close as how you would see it in your eye. So this is going to be a bit hard to describe, but if you had a picture, or let's say you're outside. Oh, I like that. I'm going to take a picture. Click. You took the picture. The light has a lot to do with it. You're going to see either a little bit of blue or a little bit of yellow. You want to adjust the settings to how your eyes would see it. So almost like taking a mental picture in your head, which you can't physically see the picture that you've taken in your head, but you want to make sure, that's somewhat of what white balance is about, is making sure that how you perceive a picture and how you can see it is as close to how your eye would see it. Like, if your eye could take a picture and the exact color coordinates, I guess you would say, the exact color coordinates that you would see in that camera would be close enough as similarity to your eye. So to sum it all up, there's a little adjustment button on your camera that should let you adjust the light so that you can get the blue and the yellow to go away, so that you can see it, so that you can see how you can okay, let me restart that. So to sum it all up, when you turn the knob to change the settings for white balance, you want to make sure that the light going in does not affect how you see the camera or how you would see the film or the picture. So you want to make sure, and this is the main focus, you want to make sure that you don't see too much blue in the picture or too much yellow in the picture. That's just about it. So yeah, I think that's it. Those are the basics of white balance, the definition, and how can you adjust it on your camera. Okay, so I have one more quick thing to add. This picture right here is a great example of white balance, and if only there was one more picture that showed the actual mug, I guess. There are only two pictures here. This represents cooler and this represents warmer. The difference, obviously you can see the difference in not really skin tone, because that would make no sense, but the actual color tone in general. This is a lot a lot warmer in colors, which would be represented as cooler, and this is a lot warmer, and it has a lot of bluish colors, and this is more on the yellow/orange side. So that's just some quick footage of, I guess you would say, quick footage of just white balance in general. And here's another one. The difference, you can clearly see a difference here. There is the more orange, and here we have an actual person, so we can tell the actual difference. Here is warmer, here is cooler. The skin tone, I guess you would say, this is a lot more on the bluish side, and also here you can see how it's a bit different, and you got these great little icons. Here's warmer, cooler. You can see that this is all on the orange/yellow side, and here is on the more bluish side. So you can clearly see a difference. Just in between skin tone in general, and also in the ceiling, definitely you can tell. So, okay, here's one more. One quick little one. As you can see, it's a lot brighter, and it's more on the bluish side, which would be represented as warmer. And over here we have its more luminescent yellowish kind of side, which would be represented as cold or cooler.